grip on the way that I keep on it 24/7. I'll sleep in the grave, and you can bet that. Cause if you're thinking for a minute that you're catching me slipping, you can forget that. It's probably obvious I came for the throne. Snatch the crown from your dome, now the king's come home. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces who say I'd miss. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces who say I'd miss. Pay attention, better listen close to the knowledge I'll be dropping off the top. I'm on a mission, so put in the work and then you get the dough. And if you gotta sacrifice it all to get it, then you get it, go. Damn right, that's the mind state of the savage on path with a time frame. Aligned to define fate, drive through the times and the mind games. That's why I do it my way, and I say I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces who say I'd miss. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces who say I'd miss.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking. The Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock.
Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules in your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Rock Jones and
Sean Randy Smith, and today we bring you our highlights or our reactions to NXT TakeOver Toronto
and SummerSlam, both of which took place at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Canada.
the NXT one took place in front of 13,735,000 of the WWE Universe in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
While SummerSlam took place in front of 16,904.
But first, NXT TakeOver Toronto.
Yes, for warm-up to SummerSlam, as it tends to be with all the big four pay-per-views, NXT TakeOver had 5 matches on the card.
Yes.
And we started off with the tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships, with the Street Profits defending against the Undisputed Eras, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Yes, and this match was actually pretty good.
As most matches in NXT are.
But in either event,
after some back and forth, typical tag team action, though the Street Profits managed to retain the tag team championships with a very familiar move called the Frog Splash.
oh yes, very familiar.
The second match on the card was the singles match between Mrs. Gargano, also known as Candice LeRae, taking on
her former best friend and now bitter rival, Io Shirai.
This was Candice LeRae's TakeOver debut match,
It was.
and technically she didn't lose, but technically she did, because the result of this was a technical submission after Candice LeRae passed out into the Kojai Crutch.
Which in either way, Io Shirai picked up the victory.
Next we move to some triple threat action, when the Velveteen Dream defended the NXT North American Championship against
the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne,
and Undisputed Era member Logic Strong.
Now this match was around 17 minutes long.
Hard hitting, near falls everywhere. However, there is one thing. Of course, the fingers being targeted by Pete Dunne, we all know he does that.
Yes.
However, the one big thing with a triple threat match, right place, right time.
As the Velveteen Dream capitalized and retained his NXT North American Championship.
Yes, because Roderick Strong had performed the end of Heartache on Pete Dunne, and then the Velveteen Dream performed Purple Rainmaker on Roderick Strong, which allowed Pete Dunne to get the pin on which allowed the Dream to get the pin on Pete Dunne.
But this next match would be for the NXT Women's Championship as Shayna Baszler put her title on the line against Mia Yim.
Shayna Baszler, the first two-time NXT Women's Champion, is slowly approaching the year mark of being champion.
Yes.
People would think that it would be a little bit of time to have her lose the title and go out to the main roster. And maybe team up with a little person called Ronda Rousey.
When she comes back from her hand injury.
However, that for now is not going to be case, because these two, after going back and forth for close to 15 minutes, Shayna Baszler got the victory by forcing Mia Yim to submit to the figure 4 head scissors.
In either way, Shayna Baszler walks away from NXT TakeOver Toronto with her NXT Women's Championship still intact.
And next it is the main event of the evening. 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT Championship, with the leader of the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole,
Baby,
defending against Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Gargano.
Now, let us explain what was the first fall.
The first fall, as chosen by Adam Cole was
Baby.
a singles match. That fall ended in a disqualification when Gargano hit Adam Cole with a chair, which meant that Cole went 1-0 up in the 2 out of 3 falls match. The second fall, as chosen by Johnny Gargano, would be a street fight.
And how ironic, because after the end of the first fall, Gargano still had his steel chair.
During this fall, this ended with a submission, with Adam Cole submitting to the Gargano no escape.
And then, the third fall was chosen by NXT General Manager William Regal.
And this was a match that had only been seen a few times in WWE, and that is a barbed wire steel cage match. A steel cage match. The top is wrapped with barbed wire, and there were weapons placed around it as well.
Where have we seen that before? Oh wait, we had
a panel of sunrise on Gargano for a near fall.
We
had one off the ladder for a near fall.
Then we had one.
Then Gargano would hit the Avalanche front flip pile driver for a 2 count. And then at the top of the cage, Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano would fall off the cage. Both would go through a table, but Adam Cole was able to get on top of Gargano for a 3 count to get the win and win the 2 out of 3 falls match, 2 falls to 1, and retain the NXT Championship.
So that brings an end to our version of, our reactions to the NXT TakeOver Toronto pay-per-view. But join us very shortly as we will give our reactions to the biggest party of the summer.
Faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. A fire was set in the dark. It's time that you know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. It doesn't matter if the world is grown mad. If we just hold on, yeah. The sky is falling and the world is gone mad. And we sing our songs and we just hold on, yeah. So if you're running, stop running. One life, one chance, start living. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. They say that I'm reckless because I'm relentless. They spit on my face and crush on my name and taking my life in vengeance. Yeah, you could try and blame us and try and take what's sacred, but we're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. A fire was set in the dark. It's time that you know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless. We were born for greatness. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad. If we just hold on, yeah. The sky is falling and the world is gone mad. And we're we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. It's time that you know. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad, if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Red alert, time, shine a light down. On the front lines of my mind now. Riding my time on the high ground. Blinded but I'm still alive, shout oh. They said we're lucky to have got this far, and that is not worth fighting for. The words are written on the wall. Come on and fight back, no starting over again. We'll take it right back from the ones we're again. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last stand. Take a chance now and draw a line in the sand. It's in our hands now, no living with regret. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last stand. Treading what's right on my heels, sweat on my skin, pins and needles. Forget it all right, can you feel that this is our time? Make it real, shout oh. They said we're lucky to have got this far, and that is not worth fighting for. The words are written on the wall. Come on and fight back, no starting over again. We'll take it right back from the ones we're again. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last stand. Take a chance now and draw a line in the sand. It's in our hands now, no living with regret. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last stand. They said we're lucky to have got this far, and that it's not worth fighting for. The words are written on the wall. Come on and fight back, no starting over again. We'll take it right back from the ones we're again. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last stand. Take a chance now and draw a line in the sand. It's in our hands now, no living with regret. It's time to rise up, even though they left us for dead. This is our last This is our last
And we are back for the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. Now we have 12 matches to go through here, so we won't waste too much time.
But 3 of them were on the kickoff show.
Yes, the first match to take place on the kickoff/pre-show, as expected, was the singles match for the Cruiserweight Championship, when Drew Gulak defended against Oni Rokan.
And to cut this match short,
Well,
happens.
This was a very hard-hitting, almost fight-club-event match. It's not typically what you expect for a cruiserweight division.
No.
But to cut it a long story short, after a Cyclone crash, Drew Gulak retained the pre-show Cruiserweight Championship.
But now we have another kickoff match.
In a match that made absolutely zero sense, Apollo Crews went one-on-one with Buddy Murphy.
And the winner of the match,
Well,
by disqualification.
Yeah, this match ended in disqualification when Buddy Murphy was attacked by Rowan, who had been said by Murphy to be the assailant in the attacks on Roman Reigns.
But obviously, we won't go on that too much because that's another story for another time.
The attack caused Buddy Murphy to win the match by disqualification because technically, outside interference would have allowed Apollo Crews to win the match.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, before we get to the third match on the pre-show, there was supposed to be, there was kind of, a musical performance by Elias.
Where he insulted Toronto quite a few times.
Yes, and he was about halfway through his song when he was interrupted by WWE Hall of Famer and Toronto's own Edge,
who took exception to Elias
and delivered a good old-fashioned vintage spear.
And that would make Elias think twice before insulting Toronto.
The final kickoff show/pre-show match was to do with a rematch following events which happened on the Raw before SummerSlam, because it was on the Raw before SummerSlam that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross would win the Women's Tag Team Championships in a Fatal 4-Way match.
Yes. But, as we know, the Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross put their titles on the line against the former champions, the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce.
I feel like we should be calling her Alexa Lightyear here, though.
Oh yeah, because of what she wore to the ring.
And I don't mind saying, this is the first time, I think, I have ever been glad that Alexa Bliss won a match.
Yes, because Alexa Bliss and Cross retain their titles.
Following a bit of back and forth action and an eventual Twisted Bliss. And I am slowly starting to like these two as a team.
Yeah, me too.
But now we move on to the main match card,
where things are going to get a little bit interesting to start things off.
The show opened up with the submission match between Becky Lynch and Natalya for the Raw Women's Championship, in which these two women decided to steal the other's submission move.
Yes, it was literally submission steal match.
When Becky Lynch decided to apply a sharpshooter to Natalya, then Natalya fired back with a disarmer on Becky Lynch.
It was almost like they were going back and forth between submissions, but however, one came up victorious.
Yes, in the ending of the match, Natalya had the sharpshooter on Becky Lynch, only for it to be countered into a disarmer, which forced Natalya to tap out and Becky Lynch to retain the Women's Championship. However, Natalya's time in Canada would get slightly worse the next night on Raw,
Oh, yes.
because Natalya came to the ring, hand in a sling, to cut a promo about how it was the 1-year anniversary of her father's death, which is possibly why they might have put the title on Natalya here, but they didn't. And during this emotional speech, she was interrupted by the returning Sasha Banks,
Who we have not seen in over 4 months.
who has not been seen on WWE TV since losing the Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 35. She would come out in purple hair. I say purple hair very loosely.
Yes.
Hug Natalya, attack Natalya,
Turning heel in the process.
in which we would reveal that the purple hair was a wig, which I kind of figured it was when she came out because it seemed longer than it normally is, and we would see the new hair color being blue. And then it got a little bit more interesting when Becky Lynch attempted to interfere, only to be attacked herself, which has kind of set up Becky Lynch's next program. But that'll be a story for a show in a couple of weeks. The next match was all about talking trash.
It was. This match was pretty much one superstar's funeral.
Dolph Ziggler would take on WCW and WWE legend Goldberg. Now, Dolph Ziggler comes to the ring, cuts a little promo trash talking. Goldberg comes out. He is hit with a super kick from Dolph Ziggler, but he only gets a 1 count. After the second kick he's hit on Goldberg, he gets another 1 count. As Ziggler was going for the third one, he's hit with a spear, followed by a jackhammer. 1, 2, 3, Goldberg wins. However,
Yes, we do say, however, very loosely.
Dolph Ziggler decided to run his mouth.
And insulted Goldberg, which prompted Goldberg to give Ziggler another spear.
But Dolph Ziggler did not learn his lesson, because as Goldberg went backstage, he continued to run his mouth.
And at this point, some members of the WWE Universe were saying, "Stay down, Ziggler."
And Goldberg decided to yet again come back to the ring and deliver yet another spear.
And then that would be the last we hear of Dolph Ziggler for now.
The third match on the card was the United States Championship match between AJ Styles and Ricochet, or should we call him Stardust?
Oh. Of course, I get you.
Because of what his gear looked like on the day.
Oh, yes.
In any event, this was a relatively good match.
It was.
Of course, AJ Styles had the advantage of the one original club in his corner.
It is.
The ending of the match was Ricochet attempting to do a Phoenix Splash, which was countered into a Styles Crash. and a 3 count. And then after the match, Gallows and Anderson decided to perform a magic killer on Ricochet.
But however, Ricochet's night wasn't done there, because after the match, he was hit with the magic killer by Gallows and Anderson.
I just said that.
Never mind, come on.
Next, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship, when in what was probably the only face versus face match on the card. Bayley would defend against Ember Moon in what was a very good match. Here we had the two superstars would go at each other. There was a point towards the end, Ember Moon would attempt to go for the Eclipse,
Yes.
only to be countered, only to be caught on the top rope with a belly to belly and the 3 count, which means that the Women's Championship reign of Bayley, at least at the minute, continues.
His next match was between Kevin Owens and the best in the world.
Not
Shane McMahon. But this match had a stipulation in where if Kevin Owens loses, then he must quit the WWE.
And as if things weren't bad enough, just as the match was starting, Shane McMahon announces that Elias will be the special guest enforcer.
Just to stack the deck against Kevin Owens even more.
So, during the match, of course, Elias would constantly distract Kevin Owens,
I mean constantly.
allowing Shane McMahon to get some multiple cheap shots. Shane managed to counter a proper powerbomb into a DDT. We after actually managing to hit a proper powerbomb, Elias would pull the referee out of the ring.
But then this would further provoke an already irate Kevin Owens.
Yes, because there was a proper powerbomb, a frog splash, I believe, or sand splash, where the referee was pulled out of the ring. Then Elias would, Kevin Owens would do, what was it, a senton type move, which would knock down the referee and Elias. Shane McMahon would attempt to force Kevin Owens to get himself disqualified with a steel chair.
Yeah.
However, this kind of backfired when after the referee went down, Kevin Owens decided to attack Elias with the chair multiple times. With the referee down, with the referee distracted after this, Kevin Owens managed to hit a low blow and a stunner onto Shane McMahon to win the match. However, on SmackDown, Kevin Owens was fined. How much in total?
$100,000.
Basically for putting his hands on an official.
Basically, Shane McMahon taking advantage of a loophole.
Next, it was a case of generations collide.
As the Queen, Charlotte Flair, takes on Toronto's own and WWE Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus.
Again, I want to emphasize, what is it with people stealing each other's moves? Because, yet again, Trish Stratus decided to apply the figure four leg lock into a figure eight.
But in
Then
any event, this was a good match, considering Trish Stratus hasn't been in the ring for so long.
Trish, like I just said, performed a figure four into a figure eight, yet again stealing moves. Stratusfaction for the near fall. But unlike the Goldberg match, this, we said this last week, it made no sense for Trish to do this match and win, and WWE agreed with us because after going back and forth, Trish would submit to the figure eight. However, after the match, she was given a standing ovation when Flair left the ring and basically allowed her to soak everything in what is possibly going to be her actual official retirement match.
Yes.
A match which actually took place 13 years ago.
Correct.
Next, we move on to the WWE Championship.
As Kofi Kingston put his title on the line against me.
As Kofi Kingston defends against Randy Orton. Now, we mentioned in our pre-show that this would be the exact same arena where in 2004 Randy Orton defeated he who must not be named, Benoit,
Oops. Should not mention that. So did the WWE.
for the world to win his first World Heavyweight Championship. Would he be as lucky tonight? Well, the answer is a bit of a weird one.
Because
During this match, we had multiple side slams from Orton to Kingston on the broadcast table.
yes,
We had a countered suplex into a tornado DDT,
correct.
an RKO in midair. However, Kingston managed to roll outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That is where everything changed.
Yes,
Because
literally.
Randy Orton decided to taunt Kingston's family, who were sitting front row.
And that was off Kofi Kingston.
Yes, a brawl took place in which the referee counted out both Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton, ending the match in a double countout. But that was not it, because Kingston would continue his assault with a candlestick and a chopper and paradise, if I remember correctly. However, at the end of the day, still WWE champion is Kofi Kingston.
But our next match had a certain little element to this.
Yes, this was The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, versus Finn Balor.
Normal Finn Balor.
Yes, you would think that you would thought that they would do the Demon, but not yet, at least.
But
This was basically a squash match. And
the Fiend Bray Wyatt came out with new music,
well,
a new ring. Yeah,
this was basically a squash match.
it basically was.
After a few moves, the winner, The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Next.
Next,
Brock.
on to the main event of the evening.
Yes. Brock Lesnar defends the Universal Championship against the Beast Slayer, Seth Rollins.
Who going into this match was carrying a rib injury as a result of Brock Lesnar's attacks.
Yes, but let's see what happened in this. At the start of the match, as the bell rang, Lesnar would target the midsection of soldiers into the corner. However, Rollins managed to counter the first attempted suplex into a kick and a stomp for a 2 count. Then he managed to get a bit of a beating. There was an F5, but Rollins was stunned.
Yes.
After a frog splash through one of the announce tables,
Ouch.
and another frog splash into the ring, where there was a second stomp by Seth Rollins, which again resulted in a 2 count. As Rollins was going for the third one, he was caught again into an F5 position, but managed to counter with a super kick and a third stomp. This time, it kept Brock Lesnar down for a 3 count, which means that the winner and Universal Champion is Seth Rollins. This means that for the second time this year, Seth Rollins has burned Suplex City to the ground, and this time it can stay burned down.
Because we want Brock Lesnar to stay away from any main championship.
Yes, we have no problem with him being in the company, but not as a champion, especially with a certain company starting to build up.
Which we'll get on to our next show.
But that does it for SummerSlam. We'll briefly run through the results again.
Drew Gulak retained the Cruiserweight Championship against Oney Lorcan.
Buddy Murphy defeated Apollo Crews by disqualification.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross retained their women's tag team titles against the Iconics.
All three of these matches took place in a pre-show. Main card, Becky Lynch defeated Natalya to retain the Raw Women's Championship.
Goldberg squashed Dolph Ziggler.
AJ Styles defeated Ricochet to retain the United States Championship.
Bayley retained her SmackDown Women's Championship against Ember Moon.
Kevin Owens defeated Shane McMahon to keep his job.
Charlotte Flair beat Trish Stratus by submission.
Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton ended in a double countout.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt squashed Finn Balor.
And Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
So we hope you have enjoyed our SummerSlam reactions. Join us soon for NXT TakeOver Cardiff.
And AWR, and until then, he's been
John Randall Smith, and he's been
Reese Rock Jones.
See you soon.
Ooh, that was close.